Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 22nd of September 2024. Lots to get through this weekend as always. Going to do the significant bars to start, then the watch list stocks, the market breadth and the bell curves for the industry group relative strength, etc. Finishing off with the indexes. So overall video should be about 45 minutes to an hour, but just getting started with this first section, I just thought it'd be interesting to look at some of this week's significant bars, and one that stood out particularly as a really good example of stage analysis over the years is Duolingo here, which DUOL is the ticker. As you can see, I've marked it up with multiple structures here. It shows a great combination between the stage analysis method and the various structures, the Wyckoff markups in the structures. So let's go back to the beginning with this one. For example, started off with it's from IPOing back in, July 2020 to 2021, before moving into what's called the IPO advance phase. So after a brief IPO base, then had a 4-week rally before topping out and making that initial high before moving back down again. So this forms what we call the turbulence zone. So the IPO terminology comes from the life cycle trade book, which again uses similar sort of methodology to the stage analysis method, but they give it different names throughout the different parts of the cycle, but basically is very similar in application. So it can be useful when a stock is young and it's not necessarily got much history. So always start off with the markup by using their markup before then move into the stage analysis markup. So once it starts to break down, we get stage 4, for example, and then we get down to the first major low here, which the SC here, the selling climax, as you can see, so marks the start of a potential structure, followed by the automatic rally and then the secondary test. And in this case, the secondary test undercut the structure, showing a little bit of weakness there still. So with that, you start to mark the base. So the SC to the AR is where we mark the initial base structure across. So you start to draw across and then gradually expand that through time. So as you can see with this, you then got some up thrust action through here. It moved up and rolled over, started to break back down again within the stage 1 base structure here, and then formed what's either called a last point of support or a spring in here. I'm sure if it exactly touched through there. So from the low 64.81, 64.73, yeah. So did make a slight low below that level there, so could call that a spring, but either way, last point of support, spring. This is our potential start of our action areas. If you use the Wyckoff method entry points, they start from what's known as phase C, which begins from the spring and then obviously runs all the way through this area through phase C and phase D of the stage 1 base structure here. Whereas stage analysis, you get different entry points. If you're a swing trader, we've got the stage 4 B minus entry area through here as it starts to move back above its 10-week moving average / 50-day moving average. That's literally the earliest point that you could potentially move in with stage analysis, but a lot of the time you want to be entering more in what's known as the phase D area here. So you're kind of in the latter part of stage 1 before it actually moves out into stage 2. So obviously official stage analysis older entry points include the stage 2 breakout itself, and once it starts to come back into the backup. In this case, the backup didn't come all the way back down to the stage 2 breakout level, so you would have needed to drop to a much lower time frame to catch the turn in that regard there. So strongest breakouts don't come back to the stage 2 breakout level, but the vast majority will come back to the stage 2 breakout level, and many will even undercut before rallying back up again and starting to break back out again. So your backup entry point can sometimes be as it starts to break back through the stage 2 breakout level again after pulling back. So using lower time frames and doing stage analysis on the lower time frame through here, so you can see you have a stage 2, a stage 3, a stage 4, a stage 1, and then you start to get back into a stage 2 on a lower time frame in that case. In this case, you can see we've got these two major structures here, but there is a third structure which you might not have noticed. So you can see we've got a stage 3 structure that did start to form through here. So again, we've got a buy-in climax, automatic reaction, a secondary test. So we start to draw a structure through this area here. You can see we've got that third more minor structure, but did have a little stage 3 through here before making a further stage 2 continuation, and again moving to the latest stage 3 structure, buying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test area, and then started to roll over. So that's your phase A into phase B, started to roll over, and we did actually have a stage 4 breakdown attempt through this area, which then turned into what's called a terminal shakeout. So again, some Wyckoff terminology mixed in there. So there's 3 different types of springs. Your spring number 1 is the terminal shakeout. So as you can see with this, undercut by a long way for 3 weeks here, the earnings reaction reversed it back up again, and then again this is your earliest entry point with the Wyckoff method. Again here as the spring starts to come back through the lower the structure again, and again all through this area here are potential entry areas for Wyckoff and in the stage analysis method as well. So you can see continuation moves, and now we've got a new stage 2 continuation breakout attempt as a potential sign of strength. So potentially be looking for a backup through here, maybe a continuation following a VCP if it can tighten up through this area. As you can see, we've had obviously a failed move into what's called a failed move into a fast move. It's a popular saying with that, and it's one of the things about Wyckoff springs is that they can be very powerful in a very short amount of time, as they've had a lot of time going sideways and distributing, and then they get a sharp move back up after the bear trap liquidity drop into here. So this one's still an interesting one. Obviously had a big move in a very short amount of time. We drop onto a daily chart. You can see it's a little bit extended here. Get the 3 ATR candles up. You can see it's extended above the 3 ATR level here. So it's more than 3 times its 1 month average at the moment for 2 days in a row, and the low of each bar is above that as well. So very extended near term. So we'll be looking for this to drop back in a little bit, potentially come back into the top of the range area here. So this zone through here potentially be on the lookout for a consolidation or a pullback entry point to develop. Right, let's move on. Luna.